There is no sound in the universe more heartbreaking than a child crying for its mother. But there is no sound more terrifying than a child cursing its mother. In the early 1920s, a Spanish nun named Sister Josefa Menéndez was dragged down into the abyss by the permissive will of God. She was not sent there to see monsters or landscapes of fire. She was sent there to listen. Amidst the wailing and the gnashing of teeth, she heard a specific category of screams that made her tremble more than any demon. She heard the voices of young men and women screaming names. They were not screaming the names of God. They were screaming the names of their fathers and mothers, and they were not asking for help. They were screaming accusations. "Cursed be the parents who did not teach me. You are the reason I am here." This documentary investigates the most disturbing revelation of Sister Josefa's way of divine love. It is a warning directed specifically at parents, grandparents, and guardians. We often worry about our children's careers, their health, and their happiness. But Sister Josefa saw that while parents are busy securing their children's earthly future, they often leave the door to hell wide open. She saw that the negligence of parents is one of the primary highways to the abyss. This video is not easy to watch. It confronts us with our greatest responsibility. But it is better to be shaken by the truth now than to be haunted by it for eternity. Before we descend into her testimony, I ask you to make a spiritual commitment. Pause for a moment and write in the comments the names of your children or grandchildren, or simply write, "Jesus, save my family." We will pray for every name listed here, and if you have not subscribed to Divine Echo, click the button now. Do not let the truth remain hidden. Who was Sister Josefa Menéndez? She was a humble sister of the Society of the Sacred Heart in France, who died in 1923 at the age of 33. Outwardly, she was just a novice who cleaned floors and sewed clothes. Inwardly, she was carrying a weight that would crush a giant. God chose her to be a victim soul. For long periods, she would physically feel the pains of hell. She described descending into narrow, dark corridors, suffocated by a smell of burning flesh and sulfur. But unlike other mystics who described the sight of the fire, Josefa described the conversation of the fire. One night, she found herself in a section of the abyss filled with what seemed to be worldly souls, people who had lived for pleasure. Suddenly, a voice pierced the darkness. It was a soul screaming at its father. Josefa recorded the chilling essence of this accusation. "I am here because of you. You gave me everything I wanted, but you never gave me God. You let me follow the fashion. You let me read the filth. You let me live in sin because you didn't want to upset me. Cursed be your cowardice." Think about the weight of that word, cowardice. Josefa saw that many parents are not evil. They are cowards. They are afraid to say no to their children. They are afraid to be unpopular. They want to be their child's friend rather than their child's parent. And because of this fear, they allow the poison of the world to enter their homes. The soul in Josefa's vision was blaming its parents for the sin of omission. They didn't kill the child. They simply failed to save him. They watched him drift away from the sacraments and did nothing. They watched him live in sin with a girlfriend and said, "Well, times have changed." Now in the fire, the child realizes that this tolerance was actually hatred. Josefa also heard the screams of young women cursing their mothers, specifically regarding vanity and modesty. She heard a soul cry out, "Mother, you taught me to dress to please men, but you never taught me to dress to please Jesus. You worried about my body, but you let my soul rot." This aligns perfectly with the warnings of Fatima. Josefa saw that parents often project their own vanity onto their children. They want their children to be admired by the world. They push them toward fame, money, and beauty, but in hell all that beauty is turned into monstrosity. The success the parents pushed for became the trap that snapped shut. The physical pain Josefa endured during these visions validates her testimony. She didn't just watch a movie. She returned to her convent smelling of sulfur. Her sisters noted that she would return exhausted, terrified, and in physical agony, as if her body had been compressed. She said, "My soul fell into an abyss. I felt a terrible weight, but nothing compares to the voices. The voices of the damned are filled with hate. In heaven, families are united in love. In hell, families are united in blame. The child hates the parent, and the parent, if they are also there, hates the child. The bond of love is snapped, leaving only the bond of resentment. Why did God allow her to hear this? Was it to make us despair? No. It was to wake up the sleeping parents of the 20th and 21st centuries. He showed her that the battle for a child's soul is won or lost in the home. The church can preach, the school can teach, but the parent holds the keys. Josefa saw that a single act of firmness, a parent saying, "No, you cannot do that," could have changed the eternal destiny of those screaming souls. As we go deeper into her vision in the next part, we will see the specific books and objects she saw souls holding, symbols of the sins they learned at home, and the terrifying reality of the lost vocation, because many of those cursing their parents were souls who were called to be saints, but whose parents distracted them with the world. Sister Josefa's descent into this nightmare revealed that the torture was not just vocal, it was visual and symbolic. She described seeing souls clutching objects that were the instruments of their ruin. In one terrifying encounter, she saw a soul holding what appeared to be a book of fire. The soul was frantically reading the pages, screaming in agony as the words burned into its eyes. This soul cried out, "This is the poison I drank in my father's house. I read what destroyed my innocence and nobody took it from my hands." This vision of the book of fire is a direct prophecy for our times. In 1923, it was bad novels or revolutionary pamphlets. Today, that book is the smartphone, the tablet, and the uncensored internet. Josefa saw that parents who allow unrestricted access to the world's filth are essentially handing their children a loaded gun. The soul was blaming the parents not for what they did, but for what they allowed. The parents' desire to be modern and open-minded resulted in the child's mind being corrupted before it even had a chance to mature. The silence of the parent regarding the media consumed in the home is a silence that echoes eternally in hell. Then Josefa heard a cry that pierced her heart more than any other. It was the lament of the lost vocation. She heard a young soul screaming at its parents for destroying a call from God. The soul yelled, "I wanted to give myself to God. I wanted to be holy, but you told me I was crazy. You told me to enjoy life first. You mocked my piety until I abandoned it." This is a tragedy common in many Catholic families. A child shows an interest in the priesthood or religious life, and the parents, who say they love God, become the first obstacle. They say, "Get a degree first," or "Don't throw your life away," or "You are too handsome to be a priest." Josefa saw that these parents are thieves. They stole a vocation that belonged to God, and in doing so, they steered their child onto a path that led to destruction. The child followed the parents' worldly ambition, became successful, fell into sin, and lost their soul. The parents got the successful child they wanted, but the devil got the soul. The vision then shifted to the chain of example. We often think that children listen to what we say. Josefa saw that children watch what we do. She heard a son screaming at his father, "I am here because I imitated you. I saw you skipping mass. I saw you looking at women. I heard your dirty jokes. I thought that to be a man I had to be like you." This reveals the terrifying power of parental hypocrisy. A father who acts like a pagan but expects his son to be a saint is deluding himself. Josefa saw that the sins of the father often become the chains of the son. The father's little vices, his drunkenness, his anger, his dishonesty, become the son's great vices. The father opened a small crack in the door. The son kicked it wide open. In this abyss, Josefa also witnessed the fire of regret. This is different from the fire of punishment. It is the psychological torture of knowing that salvation was right there. She heard souls lamenting the specific moments they could have been saved if their parents had just been firmer. One soul cried, "If you had punished me when I stole that first time, I wouldn't be here, but you laughed. You thought it was funny." This confirms that discipline is an act of love. To let a child get away with sin is to hate the child. The softness of modern parenting, which refuses to punish or correct, is seen in hell as supreme cruelty. The suffering of Sister Josefa during these revelations was immense. She wrote that the sounds of these accusations made her want to die. She felt the heavy burden of the sins of the family. She realized that hell is populated not just by individuals, but by lineages. Whole families fall together because the rot started at the head. But the most chilling part was seeing that many of these parents were not in hell yet. They were still alive on earth. They were walking around eating dinner and sleeping in their beds, completely unaware that their dead child was cursing them from the flames. They were mourning the loss of their child's body, while their child was mourning the loss of their own soul caused by the parents. However, the purpose of this auditory torture was not to condemn the family unit, but to save it. God allowed Josefa to hear the worst so that we could prevent the worst. He showed her that while the parent has a terrible power to destroy, they also have a magnificent power to save. If you are trembling right now, wondering if you have failed your children, do not let the devil push you into despair. Despair is the language of hell. The language of heaven is reparation. God allowed Sister Josefa to hear these screams not to condemn parents, but to arm them. He showed her that while a parent's negligence can destroy a soul, a parent's prayer has the power to snatch a soul back from the very edge of the precipice. The remedy lies in the very title of Sister Josefa's revelations, the way of divine love. Jesus revealed to her that he wants to be the king of the home. He told her, "I want to forgive, I want to reign, I want to save." The specific antidote to the poison of the world is the consecration of the family to the Sacred Heart. When a parent consecrates their children to Jesus, they are legally transferring ownership. You are saying, "Lord, I am too weak to protect them from the internet, from the drugs, from the impurities, so I give them to you. You protect them." Jesus promised Josefa that he would look with special mercy on families where his image is honored. But what about the parents watching this who say, "My child is already gone. They are adults. They left the church. It is too late." Listen closely. It is never too late until the last breath. The history of the church gives us the ultimate model for this battle, Saint Monica. Her son, Augustine, was living a life of lust, heresy, and rebellion. He was walking the path to hell. But Monica did not give up. She didn't just nag him, she cried for him. She fasted for him. She stormed heaven for 30 years. And the bishop told her a sentence that you must memorize. "It is impossible that the son of so many tears should perish." Sister Josefa understood this power. She offered her daily work, every stitch of the needle, every floor she scrubbed, as a ransom for souls. You must do the same. Do not just worry about your children, suffer for them. When your back hurts, offer it for your son's purity. When you are lonely, offer it for your daughter's return to Mass. Turn your pain into a currency that buys their salvation. The devil may have your child's attention right now, but he cannot break the chain of a mother's offering. Jesus showed Josefa that the souls in hell are often those who had no one to pay the price for them. Be the one who pays the price. If you failed to teach them when they were little, you can still save them now that they are big. Your prayers can obtain for them a deathbed grace, a final moment of clarity where they see the truth and repent before the end. That is the victory. So, here is your battle plan. First, remove the poison. If you still have influence, be brave enough to be hated for a moment, to save them for eternity. Speak the truth even if your voice shakes. Second, enthrone the Sacred Heart in your home. Make your house a fortress where God is spoken of with love. Third, trust. Jesus told Sister Josefa, "My heart cannot resist the call of a soul who trusts in me." Sister Josefa Menéndez died young, consumed by the fire of love, to prove that love is stronger than hell. The voices she heard in the abyss are a warning, but the voice she heard from heaven is a promise. The scream of the damned child is terrible, but the prayer of a faithful parent is louder. Do not let this video be just a scary story. Let it be the turning point for your lineage. Draw a line in the sand today. The devil wants your family. He will have to fight you for them. And if you stand with the Sacred Heart, the devil will lose. I challenge you to share this video with other parents. The world tells us to be friends with our kids. Tell them we need to be their saviors. Send this to your parish groups. You might wake up a father who is asleep at the wheel. And finally, let us seal our families with the prayer that breaks the power of the enemy. Write in the comments below the names of your children, or simply declare, "Sacred Heart of Jesus, I claim my children for you." Sister Josefa Menéndez, Apostle of the Sacred Heart and Victim for Souls, pray for our families, that not a single one of us may be lost to the fire. Amen.